Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is a review and demo of the NYX Stay Matte but Not Flat Liquid Foundation. I've worn this for about 2 to 3 weeks now, and I'll let you know what I think of it. Now, it claims to be oil-free, water-based, full coverage, mineral enriched, and it has a matte finish. I bought it in the shade Warm Beige, which is shade number 7. Right, now I don't normally use primer, but because I'm now really oily on my T-zone, I am going to use a primer just in that area, and I'm using the Nivea Men Post-Shave Balm for sensitive skin. And this is just literally going in the center part of my face. I've already got my eyebrows done, and I've got some corrector under my eyes. I'm just using the Clinique Even Better Concealer in the shade Orange Brightener. This video is basically about the foundation, so I don't want to focus on anything else. So I'm going to take some of this foundation, just give it a quick shake. And I'm just going to apply it straight onto my buffing brush by Real Techniques. So about that much. I'm just going to dot this on. Now, it can look lighter on camera because of my ring light. I need to buy a diffuser, I've just realised. I think that's what's making all my foundations look light, because in person it actually blends in perfectly with my neck. I can't see a difference in the skin. And I'm just going to buff this in. It doesn't feel heavy at all on the skin, and it is blending out fairly easily. Now, this is a lot more foundation than I would normally wear, but it's enough to cover my whole face. Now, it claims to be full coverage, and that's why I'm just using a decent amount, just to make sure that I can either prove the claim or disprove it. I don't know if you can see on camera, but my freckles are all still there. It's definitely not full coverage because I can see through all of that. Can see through my hyperpigmentation. Actually, it looks a bit grey now around here. It's covered the bit of the redness that I had on my forehead, but in terms of my freckles, for sure it hasn't covered it. I'm going to go in with a little bit more and see if it does that. Now, I would normally use a corrector and then my foundation or concealer just to make sure I get a flawless finish, but because this claims to be full coverage, I'm expecting it to cover a bit more than my normal foundations would. So I'm just going in with a little bit more, not a lot more. So just that much more. And this time I'm going to stipple it on. And just push that into the skin. This way I get a bit more coverage. So you can still see my freckles through the foundation. It's a bit lighter than what I started with, so it has covered a little bit, but it's certainly not full coverage. Right, so now I'm just going to apply my concealer under my eye as I would normally do it. So I'm going in with 2 shades of the LA Girl Pro Conceal, Pure Beige and Warm Honey. And this is what I would normally do anyway, so I just want to make sure that the concealer's blended with the foundation and it sits well. Going in with Warm Honey now. Using the same buffing brush. So what I'm going to do is just go quickly put on some eye makeup and some lipstick. I'm not going to touch the rest of my face. I want the foundation to sink in for at least 10 minutes before I put on any powder or anything like that. So I'll be back in 10 minutes and then I'll put on some face powder and blush and bronzer and all of that to see how that goes on onto this foundation. I'm using my Sleek Face Form palette and the contour shade, and with a bigger brush because I don't want something too defined. Just want to bronze up the perimeters just for the sake of the camera, because I know it looks a little bit lighter on screen, the foundation. But like I said, in person in natural daylight it really doesn't, so it's just the brightness of the ring light. I have got it on dim, but it's just not dim enough, so I'm going to have to get a diffuser. Okay, the products are going on fairly well. It's not being patchy or streaky or anything like that. It's going on quite smooth. Not as smooth as I would like it, but it's not too bad. It did stick a little bit here, but it is blending out fairly well, so it's okay. Just gonna add a little bit of the bronzer. That went on fairly easily. And then what I'm going to do is just set my T-zone with some RCMA No Colour powder. I've got it decanted in here. And then what I like to do is once I've put the powder, I do like to buff the powder in and buff away any of the excess. Okay. And that's applied really easily and really smoothly. There's no patches, it's not clung to any particular area. So yeah, that's gone on really well. So this is how the foundation looks with all the other products on top. The most that I can get out of this foundation, the most wear time I can get out of this foundation is about 10 hours, which isn't bad. But within those 10 hours, my oily parts, so the center part of my face, especially around my nose, will break apart. And that happens fairly quickly, even with the powder setting. I get maybe 5 hours at best. I can see it breaking apart around my nose. Now the Stay Matte but Not Flat clay, it is a demi-matte finish, it's not a matte finish. Around my cheek, where I am normal to dry skin now, it doesn't look matte, and it definitely doesn't look flat. Like, I feel like I do get a little bit of glow coming through. I've got that bronzer which has a bit of shimmer here, but I've got nothing on the top parts of my cheek. And I find that my face still has dimension in it, with a bit of skin glow coming through. So I agree with that Stay Matte but Not Flat. If you're very oily skinned all the way around, then it's more likely going to be a dewy finish. In terms of full coverage, we saw it's not entirely full coverage. You can get medium coverage to maybe medium to full if your skin is fairly decent. If you have any dark scars or anything like that, it's certainly not going to cover that. You will need a correct concealer for that. But it's not bad coverage if you're trying to get something that's full coverage, like say the MAC full coverage foundation or the Meron cream foundation or anything like that, then this is definitely not the product. But it's got decent coverage for a liquid foundation. Now, I found with this foundation that it does block some of my pores around my nose, and it can make me break out on my forehead. Now, I've never ever had sensitive skin. I've never had a foundation break me out or anything like that, so this is quite new for me, and it certainly is this foundation that it doesn't happen all the time, but I can get a little bit of build up on my forehead. I do cleanse, exfoliate and all of that a lot more than I used to before, so it shouldn't do that, but it does, so it's something to be aware of. But like I said, it doesn't happen every time, so it may just be my hormones playing up, but yeah, something to bear in mind. Overall, It is a good foundation. It's £6 from the drugstore. For those of you with a yellow skin, yellow undertone in your skin, this is something that actually does have a yellow undertone, a decent amount of yellow. Okay, so I've just turned off the ring light just to show you. I am in front of the window as well, so I have got some natural daylight, but that's how it looks in person. The way I'm seeing it now on camera is how it looks in person, and that's the colour match. So for an NC42, the warm beige SMF07 does work. Overall, I do like this foundation, but like I said, if you're oily skinned, you may not like it because it does break apart. You don't get very long wearing time on this. For, you know, for short periods, if you want something just for a quick, for a few hours, then this would be fine. But if you're looking for a long wearing foundation, then this is definitely not the one. Like I said, I get 10 hours at best around the rest of my face, which is normal to dry skin, but I haven't primed the rest of my face, so maybe with a primer that could increase, but certainly around my nose, even with a primer, even with powder, it doesn't last. For £6, not bad. It is a foundation that I would use if I was going somewhere and I need something for a short period of time. I'm going to try and take a picture with a flash to show you if there is any flashback. But I hope this helps those of you that are looking to buy a drugstore foundation and were thinking of getting the NYX foundation. Hope this review demo helps you. Let me know if you want details or reviews on any other products, and I will be happy to do that. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, and I will see you all next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.